All right, and I'll go into the screen share. Okay, so everybody should be able to see my screen now, yes? Perfect, okay. Well, let's get started. So today I'm doing a no-gi training round. We're getting to a no-gi a Friday, and I'm going in with one of my training partners, Alex, who's a blue belt. We start off with a lot of fighting for inside position. So I want you guys to see and watch how both me and Alex are both going to be trying to control inside position with a lot of pummeling. So my left hand's inside, now my right hand's inside. But when my right hand goes inside, he pummels his right back in. Okay, so we're just constantly exchanging inside position as we're trying to control. Okay, now here I got a deeper form of inside position with my right arm. I got an underhook. So now Alex can't easily re-pummel to the inside. I've secured more inside position with my right arm. Now I'm going to use this underhook to go into an attack that I love a lot. I use action reaction with push pull. I push into Alex and get him to push back into me a little bit. And then I use this hand up here on the shoulder. You guys saw I moved my right hand from down the back a little bit, or from across the back up to the shoulder. And that's so I have a better control of the posture. So I'm higher on the lever of the spine. I'm up on the shoulder. I'm going to push into him. Look at how my left hand is controlling the inside position on his right. See that when I switch around. Here, I have the inside wrist position, so I control the inside position here. And I have an underhook to control the inside position here. Now I'm just going to push into Alex a little bit, get him to push back into me. And then I use a little bit of a snap to bring his head lower than my armpit. I use snap downs quite a bit, especially no-gi, because it's easier to do when people don't have gi grips. So again, I'm able to get the head lower than the armpit, which is always the prerequisite to get into a front headlock. You can do this yourself either proactively, or you can do it reactively off of your opponent's single leg or double leg shot. But the whole thing, if we want to be able to get to a front headlock, we need his head lower than our armpit. So now I'm going to do something a little different here. I'm just kind of having some fun. I bring his head down really low. I try to drop down so that I'm low enough where I can just easily reach across and grab the ankle without some sort of big dynamic shot. Okay, I'm not a big fan of a lot of speed athleticism. I like to just kind of pick and move. And so you guys see I'm able to get a pretty smooth ankle pick there, because I don't try to let go of the head and shoot, but I just kind of very slowly lower my level. See me drop down to my knee right here. And once I feel that my level's low enough, you're going to see my right hand just reach across and grab the ankle. Nothing crazy, nothing fast or explosive, just right there. And I'm able to take that front headlock right into an ankle pick. Now Alex is trying to go on the attack right away. Good for him. He's gotten his left leg to the inside position, and he's going to try to bring his right leg around the corner into an outside ashi, but I'm controlling his ankle right here. So here he is left leg inside. If he could get his right leg around my body up to this hip, he could have outside ashi. Now I know that, so I'm controlling his ankle right here with my hands, and I step out. Now he's still going into the ashi, okay? But it's below my knee line, and I'm staying on my feet, so it's gonna be very difficult for him to go into an ashi. You guys remember over the last few weeks, we've been talking at length about from an ashigarami, you want your opponent's hips down on the mat to break them. So anytime somebody tries to go into an ashigarami on me or tries to entangle my leg in any way, I keep my hips off the mat. I keep either my foot or my knee on the mat to hold my hips up off the mat. Very critical. And I'm able to slide out. Now Alex stands back up. Now you guys are going to see me go into some pretty pathetic looking foot sweeps attempts. I'm still not great at the foot sweep, still trying to get better at that. And then he tries to foot sweep me back. So at this point, I realize we're just kind of going in circles with ineffective foot sweeps. So I'm going to change my strategy by lining my feet up to the inside position and sitting down to my hips.
Not seeing the screen.
Oh, can everyone else see? Okay, everyone else can see. I'm gonna stop share and try to share again. Everyone else seems to be able to share. Share. All right, Greg, can you see it? Perfect. All right. So again, after realizing the foot sweeps weren't working, I plant both to make sure I get inside position. Okay. I started off. So here, Alex's feet are kind of narrow, but wide enough that I can get inside position as long as I bring my feet together. So I do. My feet drop together to ensure they're inside. And now I'm going to roll back and I'm going to take advantage of the extended legs and the knees off the mat. And I pull right into a smooth ashigarami there one more time in regular speed. Feet inside, knees off the mat, and I roll into my ashigarami. Now I'm able to secure the heel hook there. Okay. Any questions on anything we've seen so far? All right, let's keep moving on then. So grip fighting, good, trying to get inside position again. Now this time Alex actually got inside position. Okay. Alex was able to get his right arm underneath my left, so I'm stuck with a left overhook. I'm stuck in outside position. However, this overhook also gives me a strong control of the shoulder. So I'm able to use this overhook to pull his shoulder down, once again getting his head lower than what part again? If I want to get into a front headlock, I need his head lower than what part of my body? Who is listening?
Lower than
Shoulders?
Lower than my shoulder, lower than my armpit. I need to be able to get my armpit over the crown of his head. So I snap down with the overhook so I can go into the front headlock. So here I'm doing it with a left overhook. Now he did a good job of defending by bringing his left ear or left bicep to his left ear right here. So there's no space for my hand to go in for the guillotine. That was a great move by Alex, bringing his ear and his bicep together. But the thought or the theory, I want to go back to that underhook one. Let me check my notes really quick. At 28 seconds. So I want you guys to see the common theme here. I do this all the time when I'm working from the feet. I try to control either an underhook or overhook. I use the underhook or overhook with a little push-pull to get him to push back into me. And then I take his momentum of pushing into me and I snap down into a front headlock. So we see here, I do the same thing with an underhook. And I use that to go into my guillotine. But you don't need the underhook, you can do it with an overhook. Let's go see it with an overhook now. So now I have a left, or I'm getting to a left overhook, and I do the same thing. Now, if that bicep wasn't there, I would have had it, but Alex defended very, very well. So again, the reason this works really well, guys, is because when I have that underhook or the overhook and I start to push into my opponent, they don't want to be pushed around the mat. They're going to push back into me. I don't need anything crazy. I use either that underhook, the overhook with a little bit of a pushback, and I give a quick snap. A quick swap, I move my body out of the way, and I can bring my armpit up and over the top of the head. Okay. Going into the guillotine is one of my favorite ways to attack from the standing position, especially in no-gi. I play the guillotine / snap down off of the single leg very well. So if you guys think about this, this is huge. If I get like a collar tie and I'm trying to pull down on the head, naturally, what are they going to be trying to do? I'm pulling down. What are they going to do?
Posture back up.
They're going to posture back up. They're going to fight that head high. When they posture back up, they leave their legs open. So I use that snap down. I use an aggressive snap down in front headlock entry attempts to get them to posture up hard. And then I can shoot in on a single. If I get, let's say, okay, now they're standing tall, with them being really tall, it's going to be hard to get the snap downs. But then I can go into the legs very easy. When I start shooting in at legs a lot and I shoot and I shoot and I shoot at the legs, pretty soon, what's the person going to start to do to defend their legs? They're going to start to bring their posture low, right? So when their posture comes low to defend my single leg, I snap the head down lower than my armpit to the front headlock. If they fight up using their posture, I'm trying to get the front headlock and they're fighting up hard, I let their head go up and I shoot underneath for a single. So constantly playing the upper body and the lower body against one another is a phenomenal way to build your game, okay? So let's go back. Hopefully you guys got some notes on that. Play the upper body and lower body against each other. From the feet, play the snap down into front headlock and the single leg shots against each other. If they're defending one, they're susceptible to the other. Okay? So I use that overhook. Here we are. The overhook to try to get into a front headlock. He defended, so now we're at this position. The next big topic I want to talk about next, it's going to be seen right here, is try to work from a stable platform. Oftentimes, especially more athletic, more speedy type of grapplers will jump into techniques, they'll fly around, and they can work for them, but it also increases the risk of injury and it also lowers your degree of control over your opponent. So I want you guys to see how I'm going to use my head as an extra base of support to gain stability as I prepare to roll into an ashigarami on Alex's right leg. So I'm going to try to roll, but I don't want to do so uncontrollably. So I place my head on the ground, I get a nice stable position, and I can go into a very easy, smooth shoulder roll with never having to dive, never having to take some sort of weird, crazy, unnecessary risk. I'm able to just glide over my right shoulder. So watch this again. Now from here, a lot of people would take their hand off the mat and dive through to the leg. And that can work, it certainly can, and it would be faster. But again, to mitigate injury and to increase my control, I slowly lower my head to the mat. You guys can see, now I can start to slowly roll over my right shoulder without some sort of big theatrical dynamic roll. Okay, I'm able to slow the pace of things down and go to my attack. So that's another big topic. Always try to work from a stable platform as much as possible. It'll make you feel a lot more comfortable. It'll ease anxiety and panic. You know how you sometimes get that kind of crazy, chaotic feeling when rolling. It helps to slow things down and help you learn a little bit easier. Stable platform. Now I'm going into an ashigarami, and Alex is doing a good job of defending his own leg. He's reached up and he's grabbed his ankle, and he's pulling it toward him. Now there is a nice toe hold here, but I keep going after the heel hook. So one thing that I've been doing a lot when I'm going after my heel hooks now in ashigarami or any leg lock is securing and pinning their ankle tight to my body. This has been a common defense by people. They take their ankle and they hold their ankle and they move it away from me. So before I try to get my finishing grips, all I'm going to try to do is hook this leg and bring it to my chest. I'm going to try to bring it, and I'm holding it tight to my body. Now I'm using this 2-on-1 control so my right hand can hold and maintain the ankle grip. I'm sorry, my left hand here, sorry. So my left hand can control and maintain the ankle tight to my body, while my right hand fishes over for a heel hook. I'll let you guys see that again. So in an ashigarami, this is a new thing I've been playing with, but that's been very, very helpful for me. Control the ankle, pin the ankle to your body, then fight for your finishing grips. And there I finally got it to my body, and then I go to my grip. My heel hook grip. All right, we're back on the feet.
I have a question, Coach.
Yeah, Eric.
Do you find like chasing the secondary leg will help kind of pull that in too? You know, if you
Let's go back and look. If I had wanted to, I certainly could have tried going after the secondary leg here. I could have leaned to my right, grabbed that ankle and pulled it in. That would have certainly been another viable option. Now it's a little far away from me. He's got that thing splayed out. I can see that it's going to be kind of hard for my arm to reach. So I go back, so I just could focus on the primary. But yeah, controlling the secondary leg is always a good opportunity. Anytime you can take both their ankles and shackle them together, you greatly reduce their athleticism and their ability to move. Good question, Eric. Thank you. Okay, now I'm back on the feet. Grip fighting. Once again, trying to fight for inside position. All right, there I go for my snap down again. I tried using push-pull with a collar tie. You guys saw that I'd waited until Alex pushed back into me. So I'm pushing. He pushes back, and then I snap very quickly, okay? Now again, he defended, he shoots in. Now this is an instance where I'm gonna go into a front headlock off of a reactive entry. Okay, what we just saw here, where I'm trying to snap him down, that's proactive. That's me trying to do the work. But oftentimes your opponents will put their head lower than their armpit for you. In this case, Alex is gonna do so while shooting for a single leg, which allows me to easily go into a reactive entry on the front headlock. Okay, now we're gonna go into a set of half guard sweeps. Alex is gonna sweep me and I'm gonna sweep him back with the same technique. He's gonna come up underneath of my arm. He's gonna bridge off his left leg and drive me up and over, putting my hips to the mat. Now, I want you guys to watch this sequence. And I want you guys to tell me what you think the critical detail was for being able to sweep Alex back over. Okay, what do I do that maybe other people wouldn't that allows me to re-sweep? Let's go back to the half guard and watch the response here. Okay, so here's the sequence gonna start. He sweeps, and I sweep back over.
Post.
Yes, exactly. I never let my shoulders go to the ground. A lot of people would have put their back on the mat and accepted the sweep. Watch, I'm gonna use my right hand to post so that I never put my shoulders on the mat. Remember, for a pin to be effective, at least chest to chest or forward facing pins, he needs to put my shoulders on the mat. Here I'm gonna keep my shoulders off the mat so I stay in a good, powerful, athletic position, and I can sweep him right back over because I didn't accept the sweep. I never let my shoulders get pinned to the mat. I used a hand prop. Now here I'm back stepping. Now I need to get tight to the pocket of Alex's right hip, but his right knee is defending it. Okay, he's got that right knee in. I'm using my right hand here. I use this grip a lot, so if you guys want to go over this one. This grip on the ankle, I'm using this to keep his knee away from his chest. Okay, it looks like I'm controlling the ankle, and I am, but I'm doing this as a way to indirectly control the knee. So you guys see I was able to separate the knee from the chest, and now Alex is going to start to try to come up to the top position. So this is an easy counter. I'm just going to hold the knee in place, and I'm going to use my chest to drive his center of gravity over beyond his base of support, which is his right knee right now. And I can put him back down. Now he refuses to accept bottom position. That's good on Alex's part. I put him down, so I drop his hips to the mat, but he keeps his chest facing down. He never rolls to his back. He never gives up the pin. That's very good on Alex's part. So because I'm not going to get the pin, I'm looking to change up my strategy. I'm either going to switch around to the back by walking around the head, or in this case, I'm going to go after the head itself, back into a guillotine. Now, as soon as I feel the guillotine is weak, okay, I realize I don't have a great connection, a great finishing position, I'm going to reach up with my right hand and grab this far wrist. Now, this is a very, very important concept when attacking from the back. The idea of diagonal control. When you guys have somebody's back, or when somebody has your back, the person controlling the back wants diagonal control, meaning they want to control the opposite shoulder and hip down here. If they can control this hip down here and this shoulder, I can't turn in either direction. If this shoulder is being held tight, I can't turn in this direction. This shoulder has to be able to move. If this is pinned, I can't turn to my left. If my other hip is controlled, then I can't turn to my right. Okay, if my right hip wasn't controlled, I could spin all the way to my right, turn and face them. So if you control opposite sides of the body, the opposite corners, through diagonal control, both the shoulder and the hip, you stop the person from being able to turn in either direction. So that is why I reach for the wrist grip so early. Okay, so here I have a quasi hook here and my leg over here. This is controlling Alex's left hip. So if I can chase and control the far shoulder, now I have diagonal control, and I do so with this wrist grip. Now I'm able to pull his chest onto my back and secure back control. Now, the reason I had to stop so much because I'm going from move to move, okay? Once I have back control, I could look to solidify the position, which is absolutely a good way to go. But if I'm interested in submission, I'm always keeping an eye out for extended limbs. So I have back control here, but Alex is controlling my hook. He's fighting my back control. He's making it harder to control him. So rather than fighting for control, I'm going to jump on this low-hanging fruit here. Okay? I give up the control so that I can go after an extended limb and go towards submission. There's an underhook, and there's a Kimura grip, and there's the leg over the head. Okay, it all happened very quickly, but I go into my armbar attack here by going after that extended limb. So always keep an eye out for extension of limbs to isolate limbs from the body. Now, we've talked about this in a few other classes because I do this a lot. I've done it in previous videos, and I'm going to do it again. Here I have a full armbar position with a torso leg and a crossface leg. I highly prefer, often prefer passing my left leg, my torso leg, through the arms over the far shoulder into a 3/4 armbar. Who can remind me, why is that such a great way to attack the armbar?
Because if they come up and do you can triangle them.
That's exactly right, Will. Good job. I like to pass my leg through to the 3/4 armbar because it leads into a dual attack threat. Here you see Alex is trying to turn up into me, so he gives me the triangle. If Alex chose to stay on his back and keep his head on the mat to avoid the triangle, he gives me the armbar. So it's a very damned if you do, damned if you don't catch-22 scenario for Alex. So Alex comes up. He's going to work his way out of the triangle. Now you guys are going to see a follow-up technique here very quickly. And I want you, the student, to tell me what concept am I applying from previous classes, from previous lessons. Okay, Alex is going to come up. He works his way out of the triangle, and I immediately go into another idea we've been working on a lot. What was it?
Taking his arm across the center line.
That's exactly right, Eric. I bring that arm, I 2-on-1 grip it. Okay, so it's 2 of my arms fighting against 1 of his. I want to see how I control the elbow and the wrist. So I'm controlling some of the ends of the levers. I have the end of the upper arm lever here at the elbow and the end of the lower arm lever here at the wrist. I'm going to use the 2-on-1 to pass his arm across my center line like Eric told us. And then what else do I have to do? It's hard to see me doing it, but you can see it through Alex's body. It's very
Knee
important
pull?
here. That's exactly right, Will. A knee pull. So I simultaneously pass the limb across my center line to get the back exposure, And then I have to break his posture with a knee pull to take advantage of it. So there I knee pulled with bringing the arm across the center line, and I was able to build up to back control. Great job this morning, guys. Now I'm going to go into a belly down arm bar. Now this next sequence of techniques I really wish you guys could see on camera because it's another very important concept, but we're getting off here, is the idea of being able to flow from attack to attack, being able to chain attacks together. In this next sequence, you guys are going to see me progress from Alex's left arm to his left leg and to his right leg. He defends his left arm, so I go to his left leg. He defends his left leg, so I go to his right leg. I attack 3 different limbs in the span of 20 seconds. So here I'm on the arm, but Alex, you guys can see, is doing a good job of keeping my cross-face leg off his head. He's using his hands here underneath my ankle, so I can't put my cross-face leg down. I tried to fight it for a while, but when I realized I'm not going to get it, I Masashi on his left leg. Now you guys see, he's trying to hold that ankle tight to him. So I could try to peel the foot and bring it to my body, like we talked about earlier. Or to Eric's point, I could transition into attacking the secondary leg, which is what I do here. So here I collect the secondary leg and I go into straight ashi on the left leg, and I eventually get the heel hook. So again, in a span of 20 seconds or so, I went from left arm to cross ashi on the left leg to straight ashi on the right leg, because he was defending one. So when he defends one, I look and I see, what is he not defending? What is he leaving open? In this way, you guys can grapple without having to fight through hard, tough resistance all the time. That saves a lot of energy, and it's a much more efficient way of grappling. So Alex passes my foot to the side, takes side control here. Now he's doing a good thing here with his chest pressure, okay, which is gonna force me to make a bad move, okay, but it's because I had to. Right now, Alex has my arm trapped across his center line. So if he could try to fight his way to back control. If he were to take this left arm and get a cross face and start to use his chest to drive me over, he could expose my back. So I want to get my right arm back across his center line, but his chest is in my way. So let me ask you guys, and this ends up being a bad move. Maybe you guys have a better idea. How can I get my arm back across his center line? How can I turn and face Alex with my upper body again? My elbow's stuck right here underneath his chest.
Get bridging, give him a little bridge bump.
Little bridge bump might have done it, yeah. Little bridge to create some space, that absolutely could have done it. I'm going to do something else here. I mean, it probably could have done it. You could try it. I'm going to take my elbow out. Now my elbow isn't being pushed across my body, and I can turn and face him again. But obviously, it came at the risk of needing to extend my own limb. Now, luckily, Alex is, a blue belt, and I'm able to get my elbow back in pretty easy right away. Okay. So who can tell me? So yes, I'm in a bad position. Okay, we look at it. I'm in the mount position. I'm underneath mount, not good. But what slight advantage do I have here as it relates to escapes?
An elbow inside.
Nice job, Nick. My elbow is inside the knee. So his knee is a wedge trying to hold my hips and my torso in place. But I have a frame inside the wedge that's holding me. I have the elbow inside. So I initially start my rising shrimp, where I bridge and I go to shrimp. But Alex brought his knee off the mat. He was able to switch to a technical mount here. So that can make it trickier for me. So I'm going to have to try to escape from technical mount. So what Alex is doing, and this is another very important detail for you guys, is he's floating between different variations of pins. Okay, so he's going to go technical mount, and then he's going to go regular mount and then technical mount. If he stayed in regular mount, he would have never been able to hold me. I would have been out immediately. So Alex is learning to move his body around the frames to compensate for my escape attempts. That's something you guys need to do from the top position. So what Alex does here is phenomenal. I bridge and he flares this knee open, so I no longer have a good pushing surface with my frame. So now I'm going to get ready to escape from the technical mount by doing another escape. My students know it, but where we just bridge and we elbow escape again. But now as I'm doing that, he's going to bring his knee back down. So now I'm back to my first escape. Now I'm going to bring my knee inside. I'm going to try again. And this time I find success. I want you guys to watch the two mount escape attempts, my 2 elbow escape attempts. And I want you to tell me, why do you think the first one failed and the second one succeeded? All right, here we go. Obviously it's technical mount, but think deeper than that. Why can you go to technical mount? There's the first one, it failed. And the second one succeeded. Okay, who wants to take a guess?
You got the butterfly hook in on the second one?
I
by
did. That's why it
sucking your
succeeded.
knees in?
But why was I able to get the butterfly hook? You are absolutely right in that. I mean, ultimately, that's why we can say it succeeded, because I got the butterfly hook. Let's watch again. Anyone else want to take a stab before we watch again?
Connecting your V frame.
Yep. Again, I was only able to get the V frame because of something else that happened first.
Is it because he's higher on your torso?
It's not a bad guess, but I wouldn't call that the necessarily correct answer. It's close. It definitely has to do with something about his body positioning. Let's watch it one more time. And this time, I want you guys to pay attention to Alex's center of gravity in relation to his base of support. Okay? His center of gravity in relation to his base of support. What do we see there?
His head was more to the other side. Like his head needed to be closer to his hips.
The head position is a really good insight. So let's talk about that. Eric, you're doing a really good job. So here, I'm up. Alex's head and his center of gravity is over his right knee. So his right knee can stay heavy, so he can make his left knee light. So knowing this, what do you guys think is going to happen the next time when it succeeds? What do you guys think?
You're gonna have the ability to push that leg now.
Yeah, so that's light. I'm going to try to push that leg right now to bring my knee inside, but he squeezes and he forces it back down to the mat. But off my second bridge, back to Eric's discussion of where the head is, the head position. What do you guys think is going to, let's just watch it. Let's let you guys answer after you see it. What do we have here now?
And
What was that?
his hand has to come off your shoulders and post.
That's true. Also, what about the knee? What about
His knees off the ground.
Heads
this
out
knee's
here,
off the
left
ground?
knee.
That's good. And this knee's on the ground. Because why is this knee on the ground?
Posting.
You shifted his weight.
Because of his weight. So let's go back and watch this again now. So I want you guys to notice how the first time I bridge, Alex is able to keep his weight to his right, to my left. Because his weight is on his right leg, his left leg is light enough to transition to technical mount. Because his weight's to his right. See that? His weight's all the way to his right. His left leg is making his left leg light enough to go to technical mount. The second time, when I bridge, you guys are going to see how my bridge forces his body weight to the right-hand side, which forces his weight to be over his left knee, which makes it so his left knee cannot transition to technical mount. His knee is pinned to the ground because his body weight is over his knee. All right, so he tried to transition to technical mount at the last second when he was able to finally shift his weight. Here, his weight's stuck on the right-hand side. He wants to move his weight to his right, so he can bring his left leg up. And he does so, but he does it too late. By that time, I already had too much space and I got my knee in. So I'm gonna stop share here. So when you guys are escaping from the mount and you guys use that bridging shrimp that we've been working on in classes, force their body weight over that knee that we're trying to elbow escape inside. And we do that with the bridge. We use our elbow into their hip to help push their body weight with our bridge to make that knee heavy so they can't transition a technical mount. Does anyone have any questions on that topic?
Yeah, I do. So when your first one, what would you have done different to get him to shift his weight? You know, what quote mistake or something you could have done?
Yeah, good question. Let's go back. I'm going to pull up the screen. I want to work with you guys again. Let's see if we can figure out a good answer to Eric's question here. So why did the first one fail? Because of his off to the side. Okay. So what do you guys think? Look at this image right now.
He's on a hand post, so he's a little higher with his weight.
I would say that's probably true. He's on a hand post. He's a little higher, so more of his weight's on his hands. His hips are a little lighter, so he might be able to move his weight on his hands, so his hips and legs can get lighter. That's true. And what about the angle of his body here? You guys can see he's turning to his left. He's opening his chest to the left. He's already trying to unweight his left leg. It's subtle. It's subtle, but you guys can see he's not square facing me, right? His right shoulder is lower than his left shoulder. He's turned and looked to his left. This is gonna, and he's leaning to his right a little bit. So personally, this may not have been the best time to work an escape. I should have been able to feel right here that a transition to technical mount was very, very likely. So it may have been a good idea for me to relax for a second, wait for Alex to square his weight back up, and then go into my bridge again, using my left elbow here to try to push his weight in this direction. Okay. What do you think about that answer, Eric? You asked me what would I do, and I think at this point I would have waited for this knee to get a little bit heavier.
Do you
before I
think
did my
do you
bridge.
think you could hit him on the other side since his weight is to, his left? Could you slip that cross frame hand into his knee and take him the other way?
That is another great option, Eric. That's phenomenal. Yes, if I can get my left elbow inside. Right now, I don't have a left elbow inside, so it's not yet an option. But if, like you said, I take my left elbow and I bring my left elbow to the inside position, and then I bring my right heel to my butt to prepare for a bridge to my left, that absolutely would have been a great option. Very good. Really good, Eric. All right, any other questions on this topic of weight distribution as it relates to the elbow escape?
So before you go for the elbow escape, the goal is to have their weight evenly distributed between both knees.
Either evenly distributed or elbow escape toward the heavier knee. And not even necessarily saying that you have to do that, but if you do escape toward the lighter knee, be prepared for the transition to technical mount and be prepared to escape technical mount as a follow-up. So there's the technical mount where the knee comes up. I'm working an escape there, and he counters by putting the knee back down. And now that that knee is heavy, I'm able to put the weight on that knee again. Once again, inside position, I go into my ashi. And from the ashi, this is something else we've talked about. What am I doing with my body to keep Alex's right hip, in this case, very heavy, so it's hard for him to spin out?
You're above his knee.
I'm controlling above the knee. I certainly do have the knee line, that's true. But again, I want to keep weight over Alex's right hip here, so he can spin to his left to alleviate pressure from the heel hook. How am I keeping weight over his right hip?
Pinching your knees together?
Pinching the knees together. Yeah, I'm trying to keep weight on my right knee.
Your
But-
right leg driving on his hip with,
Yep. But why is the right leg so heavy right now? Why do I have so much weight on my right leg?
because you're on your shoulder.
Yes, I'm on my shoulder and I'm off my hips. My hips are off the ground. So all the weight that would be sitting on the mat if I had my hips down, right? That's a lot of torso weight sitting down. All that torso weight has been transferred onto his hip. Okay, I don't have my hip down, I have my knee down on the hip. Does that make sense? All right. All right, guys, I'm going to cruise through here. I've only got about 15 minutes left. I got some solo exercises I want to do. Very important concept there. I pulled guard with a 2-on-1, and then Alex pulled away with his upper body. So this is a very important strategy or tactic in grappling. When your opponent pulls their upper body away, they'll always leave their lower body behind. They can't pull the upper body away without planting their feet to drive off their feet. Okay, if you were going to try to like extend your body back, you can't do that easily while keeping your feet while hopping your feet off the ground. So when the upper body goes away, I go into the lower body. See if I pull that and pin it to my body again. There it is. I pull, pin to my body, and there's my heel hook. All right, Alex passes. He's in side control now. I'm trying to, once again, look at how Alex is moving his body around to accommodate for my escape attempts. That's huge, guys. When you're on top, you can't just have your arms and your body in one position and just squeeze and hold. If you do that, someone who's good is going to escape. They're going to figure out how to beat that hold. So I want you guys to pay attention to how much Alex is moving his arms around right now to try to compensate for my different escape strategies. So here, he moves to a near hip block. Now he's going to sit to a sit through. Okay, he's sprawling his weight, trying to stay tight as much as possible. He's not just staying in one place. Now he's got my arm isolated. Now here I punch in an underhook. The fight for an underhook in this position in side control is a very, very important one. Now, I'll be honest, the underhook escape is not one of my favorites because it's more wrestling based. You have to, come up on a single leg and you have to fight a little bit harder. I generally like to stay on my back and make frames and get back to guard. But if I get an underhook, I'll see what you guys remember because I know I've mentioned this in my classes. If Alex has an underhook, the top person, if he has an underhook, what's important about that? What does that allow him to do?
He can control your shoulders, but then your hips are free.
Yes, he can control the far shoulder. He can keep that shoulder pinned to the ground. When I have an underhook, what does that allow me to do?
Get your shoulder up.
Good. It allows me to get my shoulder up off the mat. He can't hold that shoulder down anymore. So now I'm going to drive off my left foot to turn up to my right side, and he can't hold my shoulder down. Now, because he can't hold my shoulder down, I can turn into him. And now watch how I get back to my knees too. This back heist, very, very efficient way to do it. Many people will prop up on an elbow, or they'll try to prop up on a hand as they turn in, or sometimes they'll try to push off their feet and bring their hips off the mat. I want you guys to pay attention to how I keep both my hips and my shoulder on the mat initially while I scissor my legs. Because now I don't need to build myself up off the mat underneath his body weight. His body weight's sitting on me, but I'm not holding his body weight up. It's just sitting on me. I don't build myself up until I get both knees and my elbow to the mat. So I'm still on my hip, still on my shoulder. Watch how I switch my legs. I switch my legs first. My left knee, now I'm going to start building up. I have a left knee to the ground, a right knee to the ground, and a right elbow on the ground. Now I can push off those three surfaces to build up underneath sprawling body weight. Now, when I come up on a single leg, one of the first things I look to do is hook his leg, okay? Try to get an angle, try to secure a position behind his body. Here I've got my left leg behind his leg, and I can use that to control the leg and take him down. All right, now this is gonna be the last exchange of the roll. I think you guys are really gonna like this. You guys have probably, let me think, who here has been frustrated by you pass guard and the person grabs a guillotine and they just hold on to the guillotine. So like you're not gonna be choked, but you can't get your head out. You guys been there before? Frustrating, right? I used to use the bread cutter or the paper cutter choke to alleviate that, but I've recently found a new solution from Gary Tonin's Escape DVD that I really like. It's been working so well for me. So watch this exchange. Very common scenario. My head's caught. Initially, he off balances me, so I have to put my right hand out. Now I want you guys to see how I position my right hand here in preparation to become a pulling arm for the Kimura. I reach back and I grab his wrist, and I'm going to push his wrist over my left arm. And I go right into a Kimura off that annoying situation where they grab the head. So I'll show you guys that one more time because I know that's a really common issue. One you guys have probably struggled with before. It's so smooth. It works so well. Nobody seems to expect it. My left arm comes over the head as a reverse crossface. My right hand goes to the wrist. And then I push his arm off my head and I lock a Kimura right away. There it is. And then that's going to be the end of the round. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring you guys over to my mats. I'm going to give you a couple solo exercises to do. I have 10 minutes to show these. Okay. So first up, candlesticks. You guys remember at the top of the training round, I put my feet really close together. I dropped and I went up into an ashigarami. So a candlestick to help build your core is good. We've worked body folding in the past, where I come up just like this. But now, once we body fold, I'm gonna have you guys try to take your feet and your hips toward the ceiling. Here. Okay, so I go back. I extend my body up, and then I lower myself back down. Good core strength exercise you guys can do on your own. I'm up, my hips come off the mat, and now I go from a flexed position, where my body is folded, to an extended position where I try to straighten it out, with the goal of getting my feet and hips as high as I can. And then I come back down. Okay, very good core workout. Core strength is huge in jiu-jitsu. If you guys don't have core strength, you guys are gonna have a very, very tough time playing guard and retaining your guard. In order to play guard well and in order to retain your guard well, you have to have the core strength to pull your hips off the mat at any moment, okay? At any time, you gotta be able to do this. If you guys can't do that, your guard's gonna suffer. Next one, cranial rolls. Hopefully you guys remember the importance of working from a stable position. Remember when I was gonna roll into the ashigarami and I put my head on the ground first to provide myself stability? Well, you gotta be able to have the strength to use your head as a post. So this is something we used to do in wrestling too to help strengthen the neck. How we're gonna do, I'm calling them cranial rolls or skull rolls, where you just put your head on the mat. You can start on your knees with hand assists. And you can build this up to be tougher as you get better. So you're gonna start with your head on the mat, you're gonna roll it out, you're gonna put some weight on your head. You can go forward and backward, you can go side to side. Okay, as you guys get stronger, you can take your hands off the mat. You can stand on your knees, but take your hands off. Once you feel good there, you can go up to knees off the mat with a hand assist. Knees off, hand assist to help take away any pressure. And then once you guys have that down, you're ready to progress to the next one. Take both knees and both hands off the mat. Make sure you guys progress slowly. Don't move on to one until you're comfortable, because obviously we're putting a lot of weight on the neck, and the neck is, can be a very fragile part of the body. It's very important, obviously. So don't try to do off your knees and no hands right away. Try to build up to that. Okay. Seated leg pummeling, once again, always important. The ability to stand your feet or on your butt, pummeling your feet. We showed this today when I passed from an arm bar to a 3/4 arm bar, but bringing my leg back and pummeling it through. So being able to pummel side to side like that. Yes, we do circles where you fight for inside position. We can also bring our feet back, go across. Okay. Learn to control your legs from this seated position. Okay. Very important skill. When you guys learn how to fight with your legs, your grappling will get much better because your legs are so much stronger than your arms. Okay. So we have seated pummeling. Bridging shrimp. You guys remember when I was in the mount, I had my elbow inside Alex's knee. I bridged off my left leg. My hips come off the mat to move his body weight onto this knee over here to make this knee heavy. Once this knee is heavy, I bring elbow and knee together and I'm through. So my hips come off the mat as I bridge up to one shoulder. Now I'm going to move my hips back to make space as I bring my knee to the inside position. So bridging shrimps is another one you guys can do on your own. Then finally, the back heist. When I was stuck underneath side control, you guys saw me get an underhook here. That underhook makes it so you can't pin the shoulder on the ground. So what I'm going to do, my left leg pushes me up to my side. Now I'm going to keep my hip and my shoulder on the mat. And I just switch my legs. I scissor them from this orientation to this orientation. From here, I'm going to put my knee on the mat. And now with my left knee, my right knee, and my right elbow on the mat, I can build myself up. So again, up here, we get our underhook. I drive myself up onto my side with my hips and shoulders on the mat. I switch my legs, both knees on the ground, and I build up. Done at normal speed, it'll look like this. Here. Okay, so there's the 5 exercises. We have candlesticks for core. We have cranial rolls with a hand assist, without a hand assist, knees off the mat, knees and hands off the mat. Seated leg pummeling. So again, you guys can do this on your own any time of the day, watch TV or whatever. Okay, then we had bridging shrimps, rising shrimps. Here, shrimp, knee inside. And then we had back heisting, underhook, up to a side, switch, and up. Does anybody have any questions on today's class before we sign off? All right. Well, if everyone's good, then I hope you guys learned a lot from the class this morning. Eric, what's something you learned? Let me see. What's something you learned today?
Just seeing the mount like that, when we did that transition to bridge, is good to kind of see him moving his weight around and looking at options.
Hey, good. What about their weight? What's important about their weight and moving their weight around there?
Just having the weight shifted in the right place to help make that a lot easier and effective.
Yeah, having the weight over the knee I'm escaping inside. If there was weight over that knee, it's stuck to the ground, they can't transition to technical mount, I can shrimp and escape. Will, what about you? Anything you learned today? Or anything that stuck out?
Yeah, I really like the guard pull into Ashi.
Yeah, where I
am really
walked
gonna
my
start
feet
using
together
that.
right away and I just sat and shot into it.
Yeah.
Anytime you see their feet apart, you can get your feet to the inside position. Their knees are already going to be off the mat because they're standing, and it's a very, very slick entry. We'll do one more. Nick, anything stick out to you this morning?
The proactive versus reactive, the push pull and all that.
Proactive versus, do you remember what technique that was for?
The guillotine.
Good, the snap down into the front headlock into the guillotine. And when we say proactive entries and reactive entries, can you tell me what we mean by that?
Proactive is you doing the push pull, and reactive is using your opponent's force.
Yeah, where reactive, my opponent puts themselves in where I need them. Proactive, I force their head where I need it. And last but not least, one more question before we sign off then. If I want to get into a front headlock, what's the important first prerequisite? What part of their body in relation to what part of my body?
Head below.
Head below.
Head below what?
Shoulders.
Shoulders.
Head
Armpit.
below the shoulder, head below the armpit. Very good. Awesome. Excellent job today, guys. All right, I'm going to stop the recording. We're going to sign off. Great work, and we'll see you guys again on Thursday.